to Alia's Stationery Adventures. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that if anyone's watching from the UK, you're enjoying this hot weather as much as I am. It's far too warm for me, but we can't complain. We're actually getting a summer. Today I've got a new pen, and this is my second time trying to record this because the first time got all messed up. Oh well. So, without further ado, can anybody tell what this pen looks like? I'll give you one guess. Baby. Yes, this is supposedly a bit of a dupe of the Montblanc Baby. And they are very, very expensive. And I was not going to pay that much for a pen. So I decided to get a dupe off AliExpress. Now, this actually is by a brand called Who Hill. And it's just a cute little pen. So you just pull the cap off, you've got this lovely little, very cute nib. The cap screws on the back there. I'll just pop it down there for you just to give you an idea. This is a B6 notebook. Just zoom you out a little bit. So that'll give you sort of size comparison in terms of what it looks like. And the nib is an extra fine nib, which is very pretty actually, if I do say so myself. There we go. It didn't tell you what kind of nib it was. However, I've started to really like extra fine nibs more recently, so that's why I got an extra fine plus. If this does work, I will probably be using this with my little passport planner. I do a lot of writing in there, and because it is passport size, it's quite small, so this would be really good to fit on the side of the planner, but also write if it's quite a thin line. So we'll find out. In the box though, it came with its own little converter, which I might not use this actually, I might save this and see how I feel. It came with a little syringe, which I also thought was very handy. And it came with 2 boxes of cartridges. Now one was empty cartridges and the other one is plain black. I don't want to use another plain black ink, so I'm going to use one of the empty ones which I took out earlier. So I'm just going to fill this up with Pilot Suzuki, I think that's how you say it. Lovely sort of big pink magenta-y colour, really nice ink. Thought if it's, you know, if any ink I'm going to put in it, it's probably going to be a Pilot one because they do perform so well. And it also came with this really nice sort of, I don't think it's real leather suede, but it's like this really nice suede little cover, so if you want to look after it, you can just pop it in there, which is really, really nice, which I thought was a nice touch. This sort of ranged around £35, which is a lot more reasonable price in terms of pens. So if you wanted to try this out, it's not going to kill your bank balance. So yep, put that on there. Let's fill it up, shall we, and see how it writes. So it looks like these are not the standard international cartridges. If you look very carefully, they look very similar to the ones that are in the watch pen, to be honest. I can't get it to focus today. Come on. There we go. This bit here at the bottom is a bit longer, so that's something just to be aware of. However, if you use a cartridge, you can just empty it out and refill it, which is what I'm going to do with those because I actually prefer doing that. Sometimes I find converters can be a bit finicky. So yeah, and it came in like a little tin box, nothing too exciting, but yeah. So we will see. I've never actually used this kind of filling mechanism, but I guess it's the first time for everything, and I'm guessing you just do the same. Oh yeah. Oh, that's quite good. And it's actually kind of satisfying to do. Try not to get it everywhere as well, which is why I'm doing it over my notebook. Because on one of my videos I didn't do that and it went everywhere. To be fair, that was a sample vial. So yeah, that'll do. It might need to clean that out afterwards, but I do have other syringes that I could use. So, the moment of truth. Does it fit on there? Yes, it does. You just have to give it a really good push. Okay, and yeah, we will see how this goes. I'm just going to do a quick dip just to try and get some of that ink on there. Put the cap on the bottle. And let's do a bit of a writing sample, shall we? Oh. I think it's called the Pico. I will leave a link in the description to the pen, and I actually got the ink off AliExpress as well. However, it is being discontinued, so bottles are hard to come by, but keep an eye out. It actually has a really nice smooth line. Let's see how it does with some of my cursive writing. So absolutely, really impressed with that. This was £35 instead of, I think the actual babies run over 300. I think the cheapest I ever saw one, and I think it was eBay, was a used one and it didn't look in great shape, and that was for about 200. And when I saw this I thought, 35 quid, I thought if it's not great I can always just, you know, advise them and try and send it back. But so far this is really nice. It's a little bit thicker than your standard extra fine, but that doesn't bother me. So let's try and do some teeny tiny little writing. Absolutely fantastic, no issues there at all. That is so smooth, I'm really surprised. Because obviously, getting things off AliExpress, you do run that slight risk of getting something that maybe isn't quite what you expected, you know, but I'm just trying to clean off the nib because I don't want pink on my nib. It's just my OCD. But all in all, that's really nice. I love that, and it's not overly heavy. That was one of my little concerns, is I thought, how heavy is this pen going to be, because it is metal, but overall it's not that bad. And granted, the actual pen unit bit is this big, so if we put that next to the actual cap, it's kind of like it's more or less a very similar size, but when you cap it, it just gives it a little bit more length, which is more than enough to fit in my hand, and it's comfortable. This is quite a nice smooth transition, so it doesn't feel like sharp or anything, and it fits on the curlicue quite nicely. I don't think I could quite handle it not posted. It is a little bit small even for my tiny hands, but it can be held if you have small hands. But it's not as comfortable, and it actually feels much more like sort of the weight is evenly distributed in my hand, and as you can see, it's not actually that bad in terms of balance. So very, very nice. And yeah, very pleased. One thing I want to do maybe one day is I do want to try out some of the Diamine Forever inks. I've never actually tried a Forever ink, so I might try one of those in this one day, because this would be my little pen that I need to write stuff down on the fly. So yeah, very pleased. And as always, I love this ink. This is one of my favourite inks. And whenever I'm testing out a pen, even if it's not on the channel, I just generally dip it in the Pilot Iroshizuku's because it is bare. So yeah, and I love the fact that it comes with this little second part. I'm not sure why, but it does. So I find that's actually quite handy. So just say, for example, something happens to this bit, you've got the spare bit. So that's pretty cool. And the fact that it came with a little, you know, syringe as well is pretty good going. It's not the best syringe in the world, but it's not terrible. You know, not to be sniffed at. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out, and it's a lovely little pen. And yeah, I'll let you know how I get on with it, but so far so good. I love the little gem on the end. I think that's a really nice little touch. If I can get that to focus. There we go. Look at the wiggle red gem. These do come in different colours as well, but I decided to go for just the standard black with the red at the top, just because I thought it was a bit more classy. So yeah, really pleased, really impressed, happy I got this, and I will keep you all updated on how it goes. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with this. It's a lovely little pen. So yes, thank you AliExpress, and thank you Who Hill for obviously being good with the shipping. It's been fantastic. So yeah, that was a nice little review, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think, and if you fancy picking yourself up a nice little pocket pen, I do have an Atlas affiliate code. It will give you 10% off, and I will leave that in the description down below if you fancy to get yourself a different pen or any other pens. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.